Good morning and welcome you all back to the 8th February episode of Civilspedia's Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by ShankarIASAcademy. Hope you are all the subscribers of the channel. If you haven't subscribed it, please subscribe and do hit the bell icon for receiving on-time notification. And here are the list of topics taken for today's discussion, and the first topic is about legal framework which governs seeds in India. And the second topic is about the new bio-warrior species which has been discovered from the Bay of Bengal region. And the third topic is about the sexual harassment electronic box. And the fourth topic is the persistent crisis of rat hole mining in India, which has been recently seen in news because of the Meghalaya's rat hole mining crisis. And the fifth topic is about the Prelims Focus, where we discuss important current affairs from the UPSC Prelims point of view. In this section of video, we are going to discuss about the legal framework which governs the seeds in India in a holistic manner and having the news background from the Press Information Bureau's news article. So, the first legal framework that we are about to discuss is the Seed Act of 1966, which regulates the quality of notified seeds and also the quality of certification and labeling of seed varieties in India. And it also provides for the establishment of infrastructures such as seed testing laboratories and seed certification agencies where there is a necessity. So upon which the second legal framework came to the fore, that is Seed Rules of 1968. It was enacted and framed under the Seed Act of 1966, which specifies for the standards of germination and purity of seed varieties to get notified. And also it sets the standard or to specify the standards for the certification procedures for the seed varieties in India. So the next framework is the Seed Control Order of 1983, which is issued by the Government of India under the Essential Commodities Act of 1955. So under this order, it is mandatory for an entity or an individual who is involving in trade or import or export of the seed varieties, notified seed varieties, needs to get a mandatory seed dealer license. And the exclusive powers of the seed regulation or the seed management has been exclusively kept with the state government, not the union government. So it is an important fact that needs to be noted. And what are the powers of the state government with related to the seed regulation in India? The state government can appoint a seed inspector for proper inspection and to have a proper management over the seed varieties, and can inspect outlets, draw samples, and see stocks where there is wherever necessary, and to issue stop sale order, and can cancel the license and to take prosecutive action against the offenders who are spreading the spurious and substandard seeds into the supply chain or the market. And the next thing we need to note related to the seed regulation is the digital monitoring initiative taken by the Government of India. It has dedicated a separate portal known as the Sati portal. So this portal is entirely different from the Sanchar Sati portal. And the expansion of this portal is seed authentication, traceability, and holistic inventory, which is a dedicated portal launched by the Government of India, which provides for the end-to-end digital traceability of notified seed varieties, and also having the effective management over the supply chain monitoring. And it also prevents the spurious substandard seeds into the supply chain of the variety of seeds in the Indian territory. So the next thing we need to note related to the seed varieties is the protection of traditional and farmers varieties. So on this background, there is a separate act known as the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act of 2001 has been enacted, and India has India has signed the TRIPS agreement and compliant with the TRIPS agreement, that is Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights Act agreement that has been adopted by the WTO, but adopted a separate system known as the sui generis system. It is a customized independent legal framework under the TRIPS agreement made out by India, and what are the key provisions for the registration of the individual and indigenous seed varieties by the farmers. It can register, the farmers can register new varieties and can extend the varieties, and also introduce farmers varieties into the India for production. And what are the farmers rights associated with this production of plant varieties and Farmers Rights Act? The farmers can save, use, sow, resow, exchange, share, or sell the farm saved seeds except the branded seeds. And the next is the National Gene Fund, which is dedicated funding scheme which provides the financial support up to 15 lakhs for the conservation of native and indigenous seed varieties by farmers. And it also provides an award known as the Plant Genome Savior Award for saving the indigenous or the native seed varieties. And the next is the Biological Diversity Act of 2002, which ensures the conservation of biodiversity and also the sustainable use of the seed varieties and equitable benefit sharing between the resources. And the next is the important topic, that is financial and institutional support for seed sector. The first will be the National Food Security and Nutrition Mission, which is a mission which assists 50% of the subsidy for production of traditional seed varieties. So it provides support to the native farmers who are in the production of native seed varieties. It provides a subsidy around 50%. And the seed production incentive are as follows. It provides around 1,000 rupees for a production of quintal of cereals and millets. And incentive of 2,000 will be provided for a quintal for the production of pulses and oil seeds, and one-time amount of 50 lakhs will be provided for the community seed bank establishment. And it also helps in the capacity building measures of the native seed varieties. And the other schemes which are supporting the seed availability in India are the National Mission on Edible Oils, which is an important scheme or the important initiative which focuses over the production of oil seed varieties in India. And the next is the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana RKVY, which is also a farmer and production related scheme by India. And the free mini kits has been provided for high yielding varieties such as pulses and nutri cereals. And with related to the cotton seed price regulation, the government of India has the state government has the exclusive control over this cotton seed price by the Cotton Seed Price Control Order of 2015, and it was issued under the Essential Commodities Act of 1955. So these are all important to get noted, because there may be a possibility of asking question under which act the Cotton Seed Price Control Order of 2015 will be held. So we have to know that it is Essential Commodities Act of 1955. And this Cotton Seed Price Order of 2015 regulates the BT cotton variety, which is a hybrid seeding price. And it also fixes the maximum sale price on an average of annually. So the other thing that needs to note related to the seed regulation in India is the research and variety development, which was supported and provided by the various institutions such as Indian Council for Agricultural Research and state agricultural universities and other public sector institutions. And with related to the 2014 to 25 to 26, there is 3,236 high yielding variety crops has been released, and 2,996 climate resilient varieties has been established. So these high yielding varieties and the climate resilient crops has been introduced with having the focus over the biofortified varieties, that is with the production of any kind of biofortification, that is being vitamin A or vitamin B or any type of nutrient that is essential for the human survival. And climate, it focuses on the second is the climate resilient crops, which can withstand even climate variabilities. And the other focus is the stress tolerant seeds, which has been established. So these stress tolerant seeds will withstand various types of extreme conditions. So it makes the seed more viable and easy to sow. Coming to the question, and the question is, consider the following statement. The first statement: the Seed Control Order 1983 was issued under the Essential Commodities Act of 1955. The second statement: under the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act of 2001, farmers are prohibited from selling farm saved seeds. Third statement: the Cotton Seeds Price Control Order 2015 regulates the maximum sale price of BT cotton seeds. Which of the statements given above are correct? So by the discussion, we can easily infer that the second statement was incorrect, because under this Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act of 2001, farmers are not prohibited from selling of farm saved seeds. There is only one exception, that is related to the selling of branded seeds. Branded seeds selling is only prohibited under this act. So the second statement was incorrect, and the first and third statement was correct, and the answer will be option A, 1 and 3 only. Let's check. Yes, the answer is correct, and it's time to move to the next topic. Recently, 2 new marine worm species has been discovered from the Bay of Bengal region. So with this news background from the Indian Express, let's know more about the discovery and why it is called as the bio-warrior species and the habitat and ecosystem that it thrives in detail. So let's skip to the main section. So about the context of the discovery, the 2 new marine worm species belongs to the category or class of polychaetes, that is segmented marine worms, has been discovered from the location of Diga and Pankiput, which is found in the Purba Medinipur district of West Bengal, which forms the part of northern Bay of Bengal coast. So to be precise, the discovery of these 2 new marine worm species was from the northern Bay of Bengal coast of West Bengal. And the discovery was done by Zoological Survey of India in collaboration with the international expert from the Mexico institution. And the study of this discovery was published in the study describing new species of Neriidae family. And about the taxonomy, both marine worm species comes under the classification of kingdom Animalia and phylum Annelida and class of Polychaeta and family of Neriidae. And we also has to note about the key features of Annelida phylum. So to be a species of this phylum of Annelida, it has the following features. What are all? It has a segmented body and true coelom, which is a cavity filled with fluid which acts as a cushion for the internal organ of this species, and having closed circulatory system and bilateral symmetry within the body structure. So these are all the features which has to be meted out to be classified as a phylum Annelida species. And about the polychaetes, which are mainly a marine species which possesses parapodia, which is a lateral appendage. That is, we can see the fleshy lateral appendage of the marine worm species here, and which is used for locomotory motions and even swimming, and also even in respiratory mechanisms. And it also possesses, the polychaetes also possesses numerous chaetes, that is bristles. Here we can see there is a hairy-like structure over the lateral appendage of this marine worm species. These bristles are sensitive organs or sensory organs. So this polychaetes possesses both these features, and this newly discovered species is known as the Namalicastis solanotognata. which has the name origin from the Greek word solenotus, which means channel, and gnatha means jaw. And the special feature of this Namalicastis solenotognatha is unusual channeled jaw structure. It has unusual channeled jaw structure, and its primary habitat is sulfide-rich mudflats. So it thrives in extreme conditions, like it survives in sulfide-rich mudflats and decomposing mangrove woods, and also it thrives in hardened clay areas, and it also survives in polluted and extreme conditions, which major of the other species may not thrive in this region. So which makes the species a bioindicator and also an bio-warrior species. And about the second species is Nereis dithyrite. So it has been named after Dr. Dhriti Banerjee, who is the first woman director of Zoological Survey of India. And the primary habitat of this Nereis dithyrite is wooden dock piles, which found on the sandy beaches, which has been submerged during high tide. And it has the primary role in coastal ecosystem by maintaining nutrient cycling in the coastal zone, and also it provides adequate aeration for the sedimentation in the mangrove region or this coastal areas, and it also maintains a benthic ecosystem health by providing adequate aeration. And it also been acts as a bioindicator species. Both the marine worm species that has been discovered recently acts as a bioindicators and also thrive on extreme conditions. So bioindicator is an organism, or bioindicator species is an organism used to assess environmental quality of that region. So upon finding the marine species of Namalicastis solenotognatha and this Nereis dithyrite will be a condition where no other species can thrive upon. So upon finding the species on that region, we can easily infer that this environment is severely polluted, or it has very extreme condition that other species cannot thrive. So it acts as a bioindicator species and also a biowarrior species. And other important linked concept along with this topic are the mangrove ecosystem, which found in the intertidal zones, which is being the species of that zone having adapted to the saline and anaerobic soil conditions. And India's major mangrove regions, as we know, Sundarbans, which is largest wetland in India, and Godavari Krishna Delta and Mahanadi Delta. And the sulfide-rich environment, which is also an important topic to get noted because it is important for our upcoming UPSC prelims. The sulfide-rich environment has possessing the hydrogen sulfide accumulates, that is H2S, which is being accumulated over that region because of oxygen poor anoxic sediments, which is toxic to most organisms. So upon finding these two new marine mammals, we can infer that the region was heavily polluted because of the various industrial discharge and other waste discharge. And only specialized fauna can be thrive or survive on that zone. And the other thing that needs to be noted is the Bay of Bengal ecological significance. It belongs to the part of large marine ecosystem and receives heavy freshwater and sediment inflows from the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna system. And this Bay of Bengal region is also vulnerable to various threats such as coastal pollution because of various industrial and other waste discharge and industrial discharge, and cyclones, which is a prominent place for the formation of cyclones, and eutrophication also being possible because of the heavy inflow of fresh waters. So moving to the question, consider the following statement. The first statement, polychaetes belong to the phylum Annelida. Second statement, nereid worms are exclusively freshwater organisms. Third, bioindicator species can be used to monitor environmental pollution levels. Which of the statements given above are correct? So in this question, they have asked about the correct statement, and the second statement was incorrect because it is not exclusively freshwater organism. And we can eliminate the second statement from the option, and we can arrive at the answer option A, 1 and 3 only. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. With this news article taken from the Press Information Bureau, we are about to discuss on the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, and also about the online platform or portal which was launched by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and the portal is SheBox. Let's know more about this in detail. So this is the face of the portal, that is SheBox portal, launched by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and the abbreviation is Sexual Harassment Electronic Box. And this is an centralized single window portal or dashboard or platform upon which the aggrieved women who is facing sexual harassment at workplace can register the complaint online easily through this portal. So what is SheBox? It is an sexual harassment electronic box and an online complaint portal to enable women to report the sexual harassment at the workplace. It will enable the women who is being aggrieved because of the harassment that has been made out on them at their workplace can easily report their sexual harassment complaint using this portal. And it also ensures effective implementation. It reinforces the effective implementation of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013. And this act is also known as POSH Act. POSH Act, that is Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. And this act was enacted only after the issuance of Vishaka guidelines. Vishaka guidelines by the Supreme Court in 1997. So after the issue of the Vishaka guidelines by the Supreme Court, this act was enacted. And this is an additional information and important fact related to UPSC Prelims. And it works under the Ministry of Women and Child Development, as it was launched by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And there is a national conference on safety of women at workplace will about to be conducted on 14th February 2026 on New Delhi from 10 a.m. onwards. And what are the features associated with this platform? It is also very important because in the year of 2017, the first version of this SheBox will be introduced by the or launched by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Only in the year of 2017. But now, in the year of 2024, a revamped version of this SheBox along with its feature has been introduced in August 2024. And it formally came into force in the October month. And what are the features of this SheBox portal or platform? First is it is a centralized platform. It is a single window centralized platform which is using single portal to register and track sexual harassment complaints across all sectors, which also includes the section 2A, which is having the definition of women under the Sexual Harassment Act of 2013. And it also has the purview over section 2F of the Sexual Harassment Act, which is dealing with the definition of employee under this act. And there is other feature is the auto forwarding. Under this portal, the complaints are automatically sent to the concerned internal committees or local committees. And the other feature is the live tracking option. The nodal officer who monitors the complaint status via real-time dashboard. They can easily access the dashboard and also see the real-time data transmission as well as the real-time updates using this portal. And the foremost feature of this portal is the confidentiality. It maintains utmost confidentiality of the complainant. The complainant identity under this platform will be masked, and access will be limited to authorized committee chairmen or chair only, which ensures the privacy of that complainants. And what was the legal context and the mandates behind this She-Box initiative? Under the Sexual Harassment Act of 2013, it applies to all the women, irrespective of an employee or unemployed, or being a part of the organization, or being a woman who is not a part of the organization. All women are eligible to have the purview over this Sexual Harassment Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, irrespective of age or employment status. There comes under this act. And it also mandates for the formation of internal committees, which is also very important in workplaces with having more than 10 employees. And the Supreme Court direction is also very important to get noted, because in the Aurelina Fernandez versus State of Goa case in 2025 to 26, the Supreme Court has issued or opened that the court issued directives to strengthen the effective implementation of the act. And it also has the feature or the legal context that mandatory onboarding. The district officers needs to verify the internal committees formed by the organization constitution through the surveys, frequent surveys, and update details on the She-Box portal. And what was the current onboarding progress or the status with respect to February 2026 of this She-Box portal? The government onboarding, related to government onboarding, over 91,250 government offices across all the sectors and administrative levels has been onboarded to the She-Box portal, so that all the administrative level officers and the women who are working over that office can easily access and register complaint if they face a sexual harassment at their workplace. And with respect to the internal committees update, over 36,775 entities have updated their internal committee details in the portal, and acceleration as a part of the accelerated measure to include more such entities and government organization and government entities into this She-Box portal. Usage of automated SMS and email alerts to nudge the organization and entities to provide the details within this She-Box, and a dashboard based escalations and dedicated technical support to fast track the complaints will also be included in this revamped She-Box. And penalties for the non-compliance is also being enabled under this platform, that monetary fines up to 50,000 for initial violations will be possible, with some specific state directives increasing penalties. With some state specific directives, the penalties may vary up to 3 lakh for companies. And license cancellation is also being possible. Repeated violations will result in suspension and cancellation of license, business license or registration. So moving to the question, with reference to the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, consider the following statement. First statement, an aggrieved woman must be economically dependent on the employer to seek protection under the Act. Second statement, the Act mandates the constitution of internal committee in workplaces having more than 10 employees. Which of the statements given above are correct? And the answer for this question will be option B, 2 only, because the first statement was incorrect. And agreeing women must not be economically dependent. Either women who is actively working on the institution or the workplace, or having employed or unemployed, have the stake to complain, register complaint under this act. And the second statement was correct because it has the mandate to establish the internal committee with having the employers more than 10. So the second statement was correct, but the first statement was incorrect, and they have asked about the correct statement, and the answer is option B. And with respect to this question, it has the purview of various articles of the Indian Constitution. Some articles are Article 14, Article 14, Article 15, Article 21, etc. So this can be asked in our UPSC prelims. So kindly note that. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. With this news article taken from The Hindu, we are going to discuss about the frequent distress happening because of the illegal rat hole mining in India. Earlier it was Jharkhand and now it's Meghalaya. Let's know more about this in detail. So what is rat hole mining? It is the extraction of coal through narrow horizontal tunnels. In this method, the illegal miners will dig a narrow tunnel horizontally underground to have access to that coal seam where they can extract the coal manually from the region. And this method is known as rat hole mining, and it typically ranges, the height of the tunnel range from 3 to 4 feet height. And it is considered as a labor intensive work and also unscientific in nature. So there are different methods of this rat hole mining is prevalent, but all are considered to be illegal. So the first and traditional method is conventional method is the rat hole method. In this method, as we discussed earlier, the illegal miners will dug the ground underground to have the access to that coal seam, where they can extract and excavate the coal mineral from the region, coal seam manually. And the second method is the winch method, where only the physical digging out of the underground is only done through the manual method, but after the excavation of the underground and having access to that coal seam, it uses the pulley and winch for excavating and transportation of material to the upper surface. And the next method is the open pit method. This is also a type of rat hole mining. On this method, the miners will excavate the area like a step-like structure, and they will transport the material once they have the access to that resources to that coal seam. They transport the material one by one step to the upper surface. And why this is prevalent in Meghalaya is also an important thing to note. Why? Because of the availability of thin coal seams, because of geological factors. So what is the thin coal seams is of? Because a region having a thin coal seam, consider this as a crust layer, and we have a coal layer here, coal seam here, and here beneath this layer, it is also not a resource of coal. So when this layer is considered as very meager, it is not viable to excavate it using the mechanic or the machineries, because of the thin layer available there, which makes the cost of excavation more. So this makes the advantage for the illegal miners to excavate using the rat hole mining. And the second is the fragmented land ownership. This is also one of the major factors for the prevalence of rat hole mining, because the land ownership will be held by the various communities and private ownership under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. And weak law enforcement prevalence is also one of the another factor. And informal labor markets makes the employment opportunity for the workers there unstable one, and high dependence on coal income, and they are used to earn a lot or earn their sustenance using the excavation of coal. So they know only the occupation of excavating or extracting the coal from that rat hole mines. So their sustenance or dependence more over the coal income is high over that region. And what was the framework that has been aligned with this illegal rat hole mining? National Green Tribunal in the year of 2014 has issued order regarding the cessation or the ban on the rat hole mining in Meghalaya. And the National Green Tribunal also cited that the illegal rat hole mining will cause environmental degradation and violating the mining norms over that region. And the Supreme Court also provided an order regarding the same related in the year of 2019, which allowed limited transportation of already excavated or extracted coal from that region, and emphasized regulatory compliance to have the compliance with the mining authorities. And moving to the next is the other legal framework is the Mining and Mineral Development and Regulation Act of 1957, which has the exclusively purview over the governance of mining leases, which is having purview over the mining of that region or in the Indian territory as a whole. And state also has empowered under this act to regulate the illegal mining, which is lagging in the Meghalaya case, and which also involves the penalties, which include seizure of items, equipments, and other raw materials which are used in the mining process. And prosecution, they may take prosecutive action against the illegal miners, and recovery of value of illegally mined minerals. They can easily recover and hand it over to the respective authority from the district or to the state level. And what was the primary impact? First is the environmental impact. Because of the rat hole mining, it will leach the surface and it will lead to the acid mine drainage, which is one of the major cause of acid seepage into another region, which is majorly consists of sulfur oxidation, and the contamination of rivers because of this leaching. It is also prevalent in Meghalaya's Luka River, which turns to be acidic because of the acid leaching happened because of illegal mining. And the other reason is the deforestation. To excavate a land and to have access to that coal seam, some trees needs to be cut down, and it will lead to the deforestation and land instability. And we can easily infer that by having the rat hole mine, the land above the mines will be unstable because of the lucid nature of the land above the mine area, and it will also lead to air pollution. And what is the social impact? It will lead to the high fatality rate because of the unstable mining excavation will lead to the collapse of the mines and lead to fatality. And it will also lead to some kind of burning. If accidental fires may happen because the coal is highly inflammable in nature. And it also involves the high probability of drowning because of heavy rain. And the other reason is the informal labor. There is no contracts or no insurance will be provided for the laborers who involved in this process. And under-reporting of accidents will also be a probable issue because of it is illegal in type. And child labor reported in the past investigations. Child labor is also been a part of this illegal mining process, as it has been reported in the earlier investigations. And migrant labor exploitation is also being possible, which is having a high social impact. And why government has banned this illegal rat hole mining? Coal laundering through intermediaries will be a major issue because illegal coal will enter the formal supply chain, which disrupts the actual supply chain management with related to the coals. And weak deduction system within the purview of the government, and also the illegal mining will not be monitored properly, is also making the government to ban this illegal mining. And political patronage networks is another concern, and fragmented accountability and economic dependency of local communities on this illegal rat hole mining is also one of the reasons for the banning of this mine. And what are the policy solutions or the suggested way forwards? First is the enforcement point of view. There needs to be a proper GPS tracking for any sites which has been undertaking or which is being used for illegal rat hole mining. And satellite and drone monitoring system has to be elevated, and route validation for the proper checking of the raw materials that has been transported from one place to another. And deterrence is also one of the major policy solution, upon which the equipment seizure and license cancellation and criminal action or the prosecution is needs to be a stringent one for enforcing the proper mining over that region. And communities participation is also one of the important, because we need to incentivize, and penalty sharing and social audit needs to be done at the right place and right time for curbing down this illegal mining of coal seams. And livelihoods associated policy is also very important to get noted. Enhancement of horticultural activities and earning income through the horticulture, and promotion of ecotourism, and promotion of micro, small and medium enterprises like forest minor products produce, and public works info in undertaking the public work is also incentivize the people and to make the community more viable to get involved in other economic activities rather than involving in mining activities. And labor reforms also needs to be done in a proper manner. Whistleblowers, whistleblower needs to be protected, and contractor action needs to be taken in a stringent manner. Their action to excavate the coal seams needs to be stringently monitored and to met out with the correct procedure for excavations. And independent audits needs to be done in a regular manner to have the proper audit of the materials. And moving to the mains question, practice question: despite judicial bans, illegal rat hole mining continues in Meghalaya. Examine the structural, socio-economic and governance factors behind its persistence. Suggest a comprehensive strategy to address the issue. And it is a 15-mark question. We need to answer within 250 words. Please take this question and have a view about the earlier discussion. Take the question and answer. Post your answers in the comment section. We will evaluate and give the feedback in the comment section itself. With this, we move to the next prelims focus. Coming to the prelims focus, and the first topic is about the special forces exercise known as the exercise Khanjar. Recently, the 13th edition of this exercise Khanjar has been commenced on the Mizamari region of Assam. And this is a joint special force exercise between India and Kyrgyzstan, which has been conducted alternatively in both the countries. And the last edition of this exercise conducted in Kyrgyzstan in the year of 2025. And the primary objective of this exercise is to exchange the best practices and experience in counter-terrorism activities and special forces operation in the areas of urban and hilly mountainous terrains. And it also focuses over the development of advanced special forces skill sets such as sniping, complex building interventions and mountain craft of the special forces. So moving to the next is the expedition made out in the Southeast Asian region, and it was successfully conquered by the king known as Rajendra Chola I between 1014 to 1044 AD, and who is the son of the another famous king known as the Raja Chola I. And he was the Rajendra Chola I was the first Indian ruler to have successfully waged overseas campaign and expanded the Chola power and territory into the south and southeastern Asian region. And he has also made out a successful campaign in the various naval territories such as the Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Kedah, Tambralinga, and Burma, marking the rise of one of the India's first blue water navies. And this Rajendra Chola I has conquered this Kedah, which is also known as Kedah Darul Aman, which is known as the abode of peace. And this Kedah region was found on the northwestern part of the peninsular Malaysia, which is also very important to get noted, and it also has the nickname known as Rise of Malaysia. So this will be very important. And Rajendra Chola I has also assumed the title Kadaram Kondan, which is known as the conqueror of Kedah region. Following his expedition in the year of 1025 Common Era, which is a naval victory over the Sri Vijaya Empire in the Southeast Asian region. And it also been mentioned in a famous inscription known as Thiruvalangadu copperplate inscription, has been merely mentioned about the conquest made out by the Rajendra Chola I in the Kadaram region, or the conquest made out in the Kadaram region. And the conservation of the Chola temple is also to be noted, which is very important architectural feature which is available within the Indian territory. So what are the list of Chola temples that needs to be kept under conservation? First is the Brigadishwara temple of Thanjavur and another Brigadishwara temple in Gangaikonda Cholapuram. And also the Airavatishwara temple in Dharasuram, which is also found in Tamil Nadu. So these are all the Chola temples having architectural features and considered to be one of the architectural marvel available within the Indian territory. And what was the legal basis for this conservation? It has to meet out it has the overall jurisdiction of the Archaeological Survey of India. It needs to have the jurisdiction of the Archaeological Survey of India, and it also has to meet out the requirements and availability of resources subject to the National Policy for Conservation in the year of 2014, which has been enacted. And it also meet out the UNESCO's guideline for maintaining and keeping the architectural features under conservation. So moving to the question section, the question is exercise Khanjar, often seen in defense related news, is best described as option A, a naval exercise conducted between India and Iran in the Persian Gulf. Option B, a multilateral air combat exercise under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Option C, a military exercise between India and Kyrgyzstan focusing on counter-terrorism and special forces cooperation. Option D, an UN peacekeeping training mission led by India in West Asia. So the correct answer is option C, because it is a joint military exercise between India and Kyrgyzstan special forces. Yes. With this, we came to the conclusion of this episode. Hope you guys like the video. Please share your positive comments and suggestions in the comment section given below, and share the video to your friends, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and bell icon for receiving prompt notification from our side. Thank you for watching us. Have a wonderful day.